Students, today's our topic of discussion is polymers and monomers. In this lecture, we will discuss mainly the three points like what are the polymers and monomers, how they link together, and how they break apart. In this point or in this lecture, first of all, we will discuss what are the monomers and the polymers. Okay, let's see. Monomers. What are the monomers? Monomers are actually the small molecules which are the building blocks of polymers. What does it mean that these are the building blocks of the polymers? We will discuss here. Monomers are the small molecules. If we go deep inside that, what the term monomers mean? If we take the term like monomer is actually the term is of Greek origin, and here mono means single or one, while mer means part. That's mean monomer is a molecule that has only one molecule or single unit. What does it mean? We will understand this point by taking some examples, right? Like we have amino acid, which is the monomer of protein. We have the monosaccharides that we will discuss later in detail, like glucose is the monomer of polysaccharide, which is a polymer. Amino acid is the monomer of proteins. Same like this, we also have the example of nucleotide, which is the monomer of DNA, which is a polynucleotide structure. From all this point of view, now we have to discuss what are the polymers. For this, first we have to take the concept that when these monomers like amino acid, let's take the example of amino acid, when this amino acid or amino acid is combined or linked together with another amino acid or with another monomer, then it forms a structure which is called as dimer, or in next deep concept it will be a dipeptide. Why? Because it has two peptide, two amino acid units. When these amino acids or monomers combine together in larger number of molecules, then they form the polymers. Now we discuss about the polymers, like polymers. What are the polymers? Polymers are actually the large molecules which are formed by repeating monomers. What does it mean? Actually, in polymers, thousands of molecules of monomers combine together and form a larger molecule, which is we call as macromolecule structure. For example, protein is a is a polymer of amino acids. How? Like this, like one monomer, it will be combined with another, next amino acid, like this. Thousands of amino acids combine together and a larger molecule is formed, which is called as a polymer. Then this is the example of a polymer, like it is actually a protein molecule. Same when the monosaccharide that we call here is glucose, monosaccharide combined with another molecule of monosaccharide, next it will combine like this by the bonding this larger molecule, which is actually we called it is a polymer. It is a like carbohydrate. More specifically, it is a glycogen, or it may be any starch molecule. If we practically discuss these monomers and polymers, we can see here the example, like we have this structure. It is just like a protein molecule in which several units are amino acids are combined together, linked together. In this structure, it is a protein molecule, which is actually the just like the same molecule. Here this one unit or monomer is the amino acid, and when two amino acids combine together with this bond, they form the dimer. And here you can see the bond is present between these monomers or amino acid, and like this the whole structure is formed. Another practical example is just like a polymer is just like a chain in which the simple structure or this ring structure is its monomer, and when these ring structures thousands of ring structures combine together, then they form a larger molecule which we call as polymer. Okay, next we will discuss actually how these polysaccharides or monomers are linked together, and or we can say that how the bonds are formed between these molecules. For this, first we can see these examples of the polysaccharides. We can see that the polymers, like carbohydrate is an example of the polymer, like glycogen, it is a polysaccharide in which several monosaccharide, like this single unit is called monosaccharide, or we can say that it is a monomer. These monomers connect to each other, link to each other, and form the larger and larger molecules which we call as polymers, like glycogen, starch, cellulose, which is present in cotton or wood structure. All these are the polymers. If we take the other example, is just like the protein, which is present in the milk protein. Protein is also present in the meat, chicken, or all these structures. Then there are different types of proteins, but we are discuss generally the proteins, which is a polymer which is formed by the monomer unit, and here its monomer unit will be a amino acid, which we are calling that it is a monomer. And when these monomers combine together, they form larger and larger molecules and form the polymers. Next, the example is of, like we can take the example of the DNA molecule, in which the single unit or monomer will be the nucleotide. In this structure, when several nucleotides combine together, they form several nucleotides combine to form polynucleotide structure. This polynucleotide are further have two types. It can be DNA or it can be RNA molecule. So these DNA and RNA molecules are actually the polymers of the monomer. Like nucleotide here will be the monomer and polynucleotide will be the polymer in this example. Okay, next we will discuss how they linked together. How these monomers linked together and form the polymer structures, or we can say that how the bonds between monomers are formed. According to this, we will see that actually in these monomers there is a chemical reaction which is called as condensation. Condensation reaction takes place in which two monomers combine together. We will discuss what is the condensation reaction. Condensation reaction is actually a polymerization reaction in which water is produced as a byproduct. What does it mean? Let's take the example of this amino acid. In this example, like amino acid, which is we called as a monomer. In this example, this one amino acid has OH group attached with it, and the second amino acid it also has attached hydroxyl group with it. When they come together to each other during the reaction, OH group from one monomer and the hydrogen from the other molecule combine together and are released as a molecule of water, and the remaining oxygen will combine these monomers together. How? Like this is the amino acid and here oxygen. Next will be the second monomer or amino acid will be attached, and this oxygen molecule or oxygen atom is combining or linking these two monomers together. Hence it will be a dimer having two units, or we can say that it is a dipeptide. In this reaction, like this bond is called as peptide bond. Okay, the same will happen with all the reaction or with all the monomers like that we have discussed. Like this, in all these amino acids, the bonds which are present between these monomer units will be formed in the same manner. Like another amino acid will combine with the oxygen atom, then the fourth one, then fifth one, and so on. Like this, thousands of molecules or monomers can join together and form a polymer or protein molecule. One thing that we should remind that in the polymer molecule always the both ends are available for the reaction. What does it mean? That if this chain is ended here, it is not ended here, any other monomer can still attach with it. Okay, like this on this side it can be also attached with another molecule. Like in the protein molecule it will be the N side or amino acid side, while this side will be the carboxyl side. Okay, these both sides will always be present. Whatever the molecule or whatever the length of the molecule or the polymer, these two sides of the polymer are always available for the further reaction. That means any other molecule or a monomer can still attach with this and can enhance or increase this chain. Okay, next we will discuss, we have discussed the example of proteins. Same like this, if we take the example of carbohydrates, in which monomer will be the monosaccharide. It is a monomer. It will get attached with another molecule of monosaccharide. It will attach with another molecule of monosaccharide. Like this, larger and larger number of molecules will be attached together, and they form the longer or the macromolecules, which are the polymers. Like it is the, if we talk about the single unit, it will be the monosaccharide or monomer, but this whole molecule is, it will be called as a polymer. Like in this example, or this polymer, if it is a monosaccharide, then this molecule will be the polysaccharide. This is the process. Here again we will see that whenever a monosaccharide combine with another monosaccharide, then oxygen atom will be attached with these, and a water molecule will be released, and this whole reaction or polymerization reaction is called condensation. That is the answer, that how these monomers are linked together and how the bonds are formed between the monomers and how these polymers are formed. Like again we can remind this, the larger and larger molecules, because of the simplicity, are concisely described. We don't show here oxygens. These are understood that their oxygen atoms are present between any two monomers, like here also. For polysaccharides, a larger structure we just describe, or we just draw the larger molecules like this. Okay, our next question is how these polymers break apart. Now we will answer this question, that how and why actually these polymers break apart. The answer for this question lies in the fact that, in the living body, as we are discussing here the polymers and monomers with respect to the biology, we can see that energy is required for each and every reaction, and for these monomers and sometimes monomers are required, and for some time polymers are required. For this, polymers have to break down, obviously. Then what will happen, like I will explain that. I will explain it this way, that if this is the polymer, then and we require only the single molecule, or we require only the single monomer. For this, what will happen, this bond will break down. In this reaction, what will happen, like a process or a reaction that breaks apart the polymer molecules, this reaction is called hydrolysis. What is hydrolysis? Hydrolysis is a chemical reaction in which larger molecules are broken down to smaller molecules with the help of water. What does it mean? It means actually the term hydrolysis. In this term, hydro means water and lysis means the splitting or losing something. Like in this polymer molecule, we want to break this bond so that we can achieve this monomer molecule. For this breakdown of this bond, we have to add water molecule, because water molecule will added, and this by the addition of water molecule our monomer will be released, and this monomer can be then utilized for any metabolic reaction. It can be for the utilization of energy or for any purpose. So in hydrolysis, actually whenever the larger molecule is broken down, we have to add water molecule. Water molecule will break the bond between these monomers, and we will obtain the monomer, and it can be utilized for the various purpose in the living body. So we can concisely say that actually the condensation and hydrolysis, these both are opposite reactions. In condensation, water is removed, while during hydrolysis water has to be added, right? In condensation reaction, two monomers linked together, while during hydrolysis, and monomers linked together while during hydrolysis process, monomers break apart, are separate from each other, and the monomers are produced because of the hydrolysis process. Let's discuss concisely the summary of all this lecture. In this lecture we have studied that what are the polymers and what are the monomers. In this we have discussed outlines like what are actually the polymers and monomers, how they link together and how they break apart. Monomers are the smaller units which are the building blocks of the polymers. In monomers are the single or one unit in which the monomers are present, and they combine together to form the polymers. These polymers are the larger molecules which are formed by the repeating monomers. These monomers combine together, bond together, and form larger and larger molecules which are called the polymers. Polymers are sometimes also called the macromolecules because they are actually the larger molecules, as we have seen the example of these protein molecule, or we have also taken the example of this chain structure where a large number of ring structures are present. These ring structures are act as monomers together. If we take the example, protein is an example of polymer, like carbohydrate, polysaccharides like glycogen, starch, cellulose, etc. These are also the examples of polymers. These are some structures of the polymers. Like glycogen structure is look like glycogen is a polysaccharide which occur in the human body and stores energy. And protein, we are well aware of this molecular structure. It is the major biomolecule which is present in our diet and also our structural. About 50% of our cell is composed of the protein. Next, the important structure which is the example of the polymer is the DNA or RNA molecules, which are actually the polynucleotides, and they are formed by the monomer like nucleotide structure. Here then we have discussed that how they linked together or how the bonds are formed between the monomers and the polymers. In this example we have discussed that during the process of condensation, which is actually the polymerization reaction in which water is produced as a byproduct. In this reaction, whenever the two monomers come together, one monomer participated with its hydrogen molecule and the other monomer will participate with the help of the hydroxyl group. These two monomers combine together with the removal of water molecule and form the dimer. Then third monomer combine, it will be the trimer and so on, dimer, trimer, tetramer, pentamer, etc. Like this, the thousands of molecules of monomers combine together, link together by the covalent bonds and form the larger and larger molecules that we called as the polymers. Then this example is the carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is also carbohydrates also occur in the form of polymers like glycogen, cellulose, starch. All these are the examples of the carbohydrates which occur like in the form of the polysaccharides. Smaller unit are the monomer of these are the monosaccharides. The monosaccharides again combine together and form the polysaccharide units. Here the oxygen molecule is the linking atom that combine any two monomers together, and in this way larger and larger molecules or polymers are produced. If we talk about the lysis or the breakdown, how these polymers break apart and release the monomer structure, for this the chemical process which is utilized in the living organism's body is the hydrolysis, because during the process of hydrolysis there's larger molecule polymers breakdown with the addition of water molecule. Here we can see that water is added and the monomers are released. Condensation and hydrolysis are the opposite reactions, because by the process of condensations monomers combine together and form the larger molecules, while in hydrolysis these larger molecules are polymers are broken down and the monomers are produced. These monomers are then utilized for the energy production process or for some any metabolic reaction. So during the condensation process monomers are linked together and the water molecule is released, while in the hydrolysis water molecules is added and monomers are produced. This is the end of the lecture. I hope you can get or understand my lecture. Thank you so much.